People know Bitwise for their ETFs, how they manage the world's largest crypto index funds and the wide range of crypto ETFs they have. But not as many people realize, Bitwise manages private alpha strategies too, and has SMAs for large investors, and is one of the largest institutional Ethereum staking providers. They really do everything. These guys are true OGs in the space, and they're good friends of mine too. So please go and check out Bitwise. They're really excellent. Go to bitwiseinvestments.com and see all that they've got to offer. That's bitwiseinvestments.com, or just email them at james@bitwiseinvestments.com and let them know that Raoul sent you. Anyway, there's a million ways to access crypto. Explore how you can access it best with Bitwise. And remember, carefully consider the extreme risk associated with crypto before investing. Anyway, thanks so much.
Welcome to Tesla Hype, everyone. We officially moved into the second phase of what Raoul Pal, CEO of Real Vision, calls the banana zone, an important phase of the Bitcoin market cycle that signals the start of rapid price growth, accelerating momentum, and growing institutional player involvement. He argues that this stage is not just another bullish run, but perhaps the most explosive leg of the current Bitcoin bull market, given that Bitcoin has already risen by more than 15% in the last month alone due to a rush of money from pension funds, large institutional investors, and foreign financial institutions starting to pour into the digital asset space. Pal maintains that what we are witnessing is only the beginning of a much more aggressive upward trend. He believes that record-breaking capital inflows will occur during this phase. According to Pal, improved infrastructure, more open rules, and a rising conviction in Bitcoin as a major asset class are driving a fundamental change in the way financial markets engage with cryptocurrencies rather just simply speculative hype. He argues that Bitcoin will reach new all-time highs at an accelerated rate due to both price dynamics, driven by scarcity, and the onset of an investor psychological tipping point. This second phase, which may be larger and faster than any of the earlier cycles, signifies a substantial shift in capital rotation and mood. Pal highlights that for individuals who are positioned early, this time frame can be the most important one for investors, offering them chances that could transform their lives.
Hi, I'm Raoul Pal, and welcome to my show, The Journeyman. The Journeyman, as you know by now, is my journey to that nexus of understanding of macro, crypto, and the exponential age of technology. I tried to bring all of you along this journey by talking about different component parts, whether it's technology, crypto, or the macro, and often I bring them all together as well. So you think of it as your learning journey because you're piggybacking on my learning journey. Now, one of the things I've been passionate about for a long time now is this idea that we've got 5 years left before the economic singularity, when AI and the robots change the structure of economies, business models, and our lives in general. It's something I've been trying to focus people on, saying digital assets and crypto are one of the only ways for you to protect yourself, and we've only got 5 years before we just don't know how things work anymore. That's all part of my exponential age thesis. This thesis that technology is going to go exponential in its adoption and its impacts on everybody's lives. Now, most of you don't really yet grasp how big this all is. You see bits of it. You see bits of AI posted here and there. None of you are using it enough, and nobody really understands the profound impact it has on civilization itself. Now, myself and David Mattin started writing about this in Global Macro Investor maybe 4 years ago. I started writing. I brought David on to help me. So David writes for Global Macro Investor, my premium research service, and we decided that people so wanted to know more about technology, its impact, where it's all going, what it all means, that we spun up an independent research service, which is not part of Real Vision, but it's available on Real Vision, called The Exponentialist. And The Exponentialist has formed itself into this amazing community where we not only write a lot of research around this topic, but we also talk to Real Vision members or Exponentialist members. And what I want to do with you today is share one of these conversations so you can see how unique it is as a product, the kind of conversations we have. And I think it's going to leave you slightly unsettled and hopefully quite inspired. Anyway, enjoy the Exponentialist fireside chat with myself, and started with David and I, and now it's all of us. We all come together and talk about some of this crazy stuff that is going on in the world, how to make sense of it all. And what I love about these conversations is they are conversations. It's not just a Q&A of David and I. Yes, we do that as well, but it's also everybody adding in their thoughts about where this journey is going, because it's, as we can tell, and we say this all the time, it's just accelerating, and it's almost tough to make sense of. So I love the idea of getting this kind of hive mind together to make sense of the world around us, what is happening, what it means for us, where it's all going. David, how are you, my friend? Been traveling a lot. Really interesting. I was in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Qatar, and I was at the Abu Dhabi Investment Council, which is one of the big sovereign wealth funds. And they just made it very clear that everybody in the region, and Tom will know this because he's out there as well, is that they've all been given the mandate. Number one is AI, and number two is blockchain. Our core thesis is what they're building their entire future country stack on. And this is the whole Trump visit that went there. It's all about the same thing. So they know they've got abundant energy, which is part of your thesis, David. They know they've got abundant energy. They know that they're going to have to adopt technology at scale. They've got young populations that are growing, and they think they can be not only a regional leader, but a world leader in these two things. And so the mandate is invest in this, build this. And it's really exciting to see. I mean, everyone there is still trying to get their heads around what it means. I mean, but this is everything from the oil company through to the sovereign wealth funds, through to the general population, through to businesses, through to the education system, the system of government, all of it. That's what's up to grabs. And that's not just in Abu Dhabi, which tends to be very well thought through in this, but it's Dubai, it's Qatar, and it's Saudi. And Saudi's, really is a big player behind the scenes in this whole thing. So they have this cohesive strategy about what the world is going to look like, and that's what they're accelerating on.
And it's really interesting to watch it.
We've probably all mid-curved NVIDIA because we were assuming that there was going to be a boom-bust cycle because Microsoft and others will have pre-ordered what they're doing. But now we're seeing nation states with endless capital availability building yet more stuff. And I just can't see how that stock doesn't continue to really perform because it's at the epicenter of everything still, and that doesn't go away, and Taiwan Semi being another.
Raoul Pal claims that no other investable asset class in history has ever experienced the rate of growth in cryptocurrency adoption. In addition to altering financial markets, this quick expansion is opening the door for one of the fastest wealth concentrations in recorded history. By the end of 2025, he projects that there will be over 1.1 billion active Bitcoin wallets, a shocking statistic demonstrating a notable and extensive rise in the utilization of digital assets. This level of adoption signifies more than just technological interest. It also signifies a significant shift in the allocation, expansion, and storage of capital. Pal's claim is supported by the fundamental market truth that liquidity drives price movement. He argues that because of shifting investor interests and central bank policy loosening financial rules, global money is currently pouring cryptocurrency markets at a never-before-seen speed. The rise of this wave, which is characterized by outperformance in nearly every sector of the digital asset ecosystem, increased institutional allocation, and explosive price action, is causing the crypto cycle to approach a parabolic phase. Pal claims that we are currently living through the most powerful phase of the cryptocurrency boom, in which user growth, infrastructure, maturity, and capital flows combine to drive adoption and valuation to all-time highs. This isn't a trend. Instead, it marks a significant turning moment in history where finance and technology come together to change the structure of global wealth and create opportunities for investors of all ages.
Enjoying this conversation, and it's making you think, I need to know more about this because it's going to impact myself, my children, and everybody around me, including my business and my investments. Then why don't you come and join us at the Exponentialist, realvision.com/the future. And you can become part of this incredible community where we all figure it out together. And I'd love to have you along for the journey. It's the game of sovereign nations because it has to be. Right? It's the future of everything. If we saw one preemptive version of this with nuclear technology, in fact, stopped large conflicts because you end up scaling this technology and it becomes a way of balancing power. And this is the new power. Right? Intelligence is the new power, is the new nuclear weapon. And you're going to see, what the Middle East is doing is building their own Arabic language versions and everything else. And we're going to see this regionalization of this, as you say. but at the middle of it is a bunch of technologies that is just not going to go away. And again, it's hard to keep your eye on all of the balls at the same time. So like people are like, AR, VR has dropped off people's minds right now, but it won't do, because all of this brings yet more compute power and ability within that sector. Robotics is all over my X stream now as more and more of these robots get better and better and better. We're going to see obviously the robo-taxi launch, I think, in Austin, Texas, next month. That's going to be, okay, we've got Waymo, but now we're going to start to see the Tesla rollout. And then soon after that, we're going to start to see a much larger rollout of the robots, which again, nobody's prepared for. They think it's quite amusing. They don't realize they're going to be ubiquitous very fast. Atmosphere in London about this, because we talk about this a lot, the fact that Europe is so off the map. Maybe France has got some decent stuff going on. In London, do they even get it, or are they just cynical about the whole thing? Superpowers who have it.
Yeah.
It was the same with military, that Europe didn't have a military really. And then so you become a slave to the US and NATO. And here they're going to become a slave to this. So I just don't understand it, but it's fascinating to watch. The other thing that I've been watching is Elon, now he's not so involved in the government, has been spending a lot of time talking about the Kardashev scale. And, obviously he runs solar businesses, but, his fundamental belief is all we need is solar. And there's a lot of debate going on about, how fast China is accelerating solar. And it's adding something like the entire world's nuclear plans for the next 10 years per year. And, it's interesting because in the US, people are cynical of solar because they're a big energy, they're the largest supplier of oil to the world. But what I'm seeing out of China is this unbelievable acceleration in solar. And it's just going to keep driving investment. I mean, this is not going to, the Saudis understand this, all the Middle East understands it, is, they have more solar than they have oil. And what does that mean and how stuff is? I've introduced you to Jen Zhu Scott, who is on the foundation Siri with me, and she's building decentralized power plants.
Exactly. And that interview is booked. So all exponentialists stand by. Jen is coming to the platform to talk to me all about this, and we're going to go deep on this stuff with her. Yeah. She's
also got VC, invests a lot of AI, so she's ultra smart. So you'll enjoy that conversation. I don't know if I booked you the conversation with Meltem Demirors yet. We need to organize that. So Meltem, it was a famous person in crypto, and she saw the opportunity of what this is going to lead to in terms of the need for energy. And she's built a VC about alternative energies, nuclear, distributed energy grids, all of that stuff. She's another ultra smart lady in that space, and you need to talk to her because
more and more prominent investors and analysts are increasingly echoing Raoul Pal's broader claim that the rise in Bitcoin is directly related to growing global debt, continuous inflation, and a historic realignment of institutional capital. As macroeconomic volatility rises and trust in fiat currencies wanes, Bitcoin is increasingly acknowledged as a hedge against systemic risk and a limited decentralized asset, immune to inflationary pressures and governmental manipulation. Cathie Wood is unwavering in her long-term forecast that by 2030, Bitcoin will be worth about $1.55 million. This forecast is predicated on the slow erosion of confidence in traditional monetary systems and the quickening of institutional acceptance. Her viewpoint is very similar to that of Pal, who believes that the demise of traditional financial institutions is imminent, and that digitally scarce assets like Bitcoin will take center stage. Robert Kiyosaki, who projects that Bitcoin will reach roughly $1 million by 2035, shares these concerns. He attributes the emergence of cryptocurrencies to the U.S. debt's unsustainable trajectory, the decline in confidence in conventional financial governance, and the impending significant market correction. He asserts that holding assets that are resistant to inflation and state regulation, two fundamental tenets of the crypto ethos, will be crucial to safeguarding wealth in the years ahead. At this moment, shorter-term analysts are also increasing their goals. Currently, Marcus Thelen considers $122,000 to be a substantial short-term resistance. Furthermore, according to sovereign bond models cited by Andre Drago, Bitcoin is already inexpensive at present prices and values at over $200,000. when default risk and the shift to hard assets are taken into consideration. These conflicting forecasts suggest a broader shift in market opinion, where traditional safe havens are losing credibility and Bitcoin is evolving beyond a speculative instrument. It is starting to serve as the cornerstone of a new paradigm in finance. As Pal warns, a desperate rush to assets that offer independence, resilience, and scarcity, along with a waning faith in centralized institutions, are driving this significant change. The fundamental reasons driving capital into cryptocurrencies are growing stronger, despite the trajectory's possible volatility. This suggests a substantial structural shift that might fundamentally alter global markets.